Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world that we're living in. Now, I just want to give a bit of a trigger warning for this video because it's I know all the cases that we cover, any crime case, especially murder cases, are tragic or upsetting or all those things. But I think this one, the dog's whining, the dog's agreeing with me. This one is especially upsetting because a couple of years ago, this very beautiful woman, Anna Walshe, did not know that Christmas that she was just about to have with her three sons, she has three children, three boys, was going to be her last one, because on probably, I think it was New Year's Eve when the actual deed happened, Anna was likely murdered by her current husband, her husband at the time, Brian Walshe. This is him when he was being arrested. This is a piece of shit, this man is, because when he was being arrested, he was smiling. He likes to have a little smile. He's a total psychopath, narcissist. My question would always be, I don't know what Anna ever saw in him. I think apparently at some point in time they were completely in love. She said to her friends it was love at first sight when they met. Everyone thought Brian was great. You know, her mum liked him. You know, her friends liked him. He's a total sort of evil hiding in plain sight, Brian Walshe. Anyway, so this was in 2023, and then Anna was never seen again, and still hasn't been seen, dead or alive, because unfortunately Anna's remains have never been recovered. Now, currently, the trial is going on. This is what we're going to talk about. I haven't covered this case. I'm not sure why, really. Perhaps just haven't got around to it. I've known about this case ever since it happened, and I wanted to talk about it. So the trial is going on at the moment. It is closing arguments happening at the moment. The prosecution rested, the defense rested, despite rumours that Brian was going to actually speak in his own defence. He didn't. And we're just waiting now, as I say, the closing arguments taking place, and then the jury will be out and that will be the verdict. And this is a televised trial. So we have got some footage that we can look at. There's also a lot of CCTV evidence. So there's no smoking gun against Brian Walshe. He's been tried for Anna's murder in the absence of a body. It's thought that he disposed of the body, poor Anna, in various garbage dumps. At his mother's apartment building, there's CCTV of him carrying very heavy bags out to various rubbish dumps where this rubbish was taken away and incinerated. And it's thought that, very sadly, that is where Anna probably ended up, in pieces. I mean, what sort of person can do that? This is the mother of his three children. Anyway, I tell you the sort of person that can do it. The sort of person that can do it is Brian Walshe. And still smiling, you know, when he's arrested. Yeah, hilarious. You know, nothing to worry about. He reminds me so much of David Knežević, you know, Anna Knežević's husband. She was called Anna as well. I must do a video and compare these two cases, because her husband, he was a piece of shit as well, wasn't he? And he thought he was cleverer than the police. So Brian Walshe is one of those people, he thinks he's really clever. And then when you look at, he's probably the most stupid killer ever. Because although there is no body, there is so much evidence against him. You know, lots of little bits of evidence, his Google searches, the fact that he went shopping for a murder cover-up kit, basically, with his son, with one of his sons, took one of her sons shopping with him and went off and bought all the stuff he needed to clear up after a murder. Just so blatantly obvious. We're going to see that CCTV footage. So that was a bit like David Konobovich, as I call him, or Knezovich. He did that, didn't he? Thought he was clever. Nobody'd know that he went to... Anna Knezovich was a woman who escaped from her marriage with David, went to live in Spain, came to live in Spain for a new life. She was Colombian born, but was American national. Came to Spain for a new life to get away from David, because he was the one that was having affairs in that particular case. And David drove all the way from Serbia. And funny, there is a link there as well, because David Knezovich was from Serbia and Anna Walshe was born in Serbia. And anyway, he was caught in the end because, again, he was stupid, really, but thought he was clever. He was caught for all sorts of reasons. And he then, unfortunately, we won't see justice for Anna and her, the Anna Knezovich. Her body also has never been found. But unfortunately, we'll never, ever know what happened to her, because David Knezovich, he took his own life while he's in prison after he was arrested. He was another joker, laughing, joking in trial, etc. Not in trial, but in court hearings. And his solicitor, when she was asked why is he laughing and joking, said, "Oh, he's a funny guy." Yeah, funny guy. Murdered his wife, buried her God knows where. Nobody knows where Anna is. And then he took his own life and took his secrets to the grave. So whether Anna will ever get found is unclear. Anna Knezovich. But Anna Walshe will never be found, because she's been taken and distributed amongst various garbage disposal things. It's just disgusting. So the body will never be found. But there was lots of other evidence. There was stuff in the house that had obviously been used to cut her up. His Google searches were like, just what a murderer would Google. I mean, it's one of those, like, if it wasn't so deadly serious, because it actually involves the murder of a mother of three, a young, vibrant woman, it would be hilarious, because it's just unbelievable that anybody could do this. So, yeah. Now, once this was them. Once this was David, Anna and Brian. Love at first sight, she described it as, to her friends. So where does it go from this to this? So, could you ever look more guilty and look like you are actually planning to dispose of a body? I mean, literally, could you be any more obvious? And he also, the poor guy who served him in this hypermarket thing, he had to give testimony in court as well, because he actually asked the, the assistant to help him. I mean, it's breathtaking in his thickness. But he thinks he is, something special. But I'll tell you what, his defence lawyer at the moment seems to think he's pretty special. She's laughing and joking, putting her arm around him. Do you know what? Do these men, do they hypnotise these women or give them some drugs or something? I mean, I don't know what Anna ever saw in him. She did love him once. What did she see in this man? Anyway, so even before this all happened, and probably what put the strain on this marriage, Brian had got involved in a fraud, an art fraud. He had sold fake Andy Warhol paintings, because again, he was thick with that as well. He thought he could get away with it, but he couldn't, because they were so obviously fake. So he was, when he committed this crime, he was wearing an ankle monitor. Again, it just gets it just gets weirder and weirder, the whole thing. But anyway, never mind. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Say my thanks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. If you share my videos, please subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, it's completely free. Very special thank you to my members, to anyone who has sent super chats or bought Ko-fis or PayPal'd me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support you give to my channel. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. So, hello, you lovely lurkers out there. Hope you're all getting ready for Christmas and looking forward to it. Hello, replay crew. Thank you so much for watching. And now I'm going to come into the chat and see who's around. Is anybody brave enough to come into the chat? Hey, Daniel. Happy Friday to you. Hi, Miss Lee. Yeah, have a blessed day. You too, Miss Lee. I hope, prayers are needed, aren't they, in this mad world that we live in? Yeah, and Miss Lee says, in this busy period, make sure to take breaks and find time to reflect. It's true, yeah. Hi, Lily. Hi, David. And hi, Darren. Thank you for joining in the chat. Thank you for watching. So now it may be that you don't know much about this case. So as I say, it was 2 years ago. There actually took place, if you like, when poor Anna lost her life. It seems like now that what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little sort of short, not a documentary, just a Fox News sort of, I think it's Fox News item that just give you the background, because you'll need the background to this case. Let's see. So it was January the 1st. She was reported missing on January the 4th, 2023. And she was last seen early on January the 1st. She had dinner with Brian and a friend of his on New Year's Eve. So that's the last time anyone aside from Brian saw her. And Anna herself, she was born in Serbia, in Belgrade in 1983. And she was a real... by the time, it came to her demise, she was the breadwinner in the family. She had a brilliant job. She was earning lots of money. She was a real go-getter. She was fit. She loved exercise. And, everybody has said what a fantastic mother this woman was. An absolutely brilliant mother to her 3 children. During the end of their relationship, she had strayed. So this fraud that Brian perpetrated with these fake Andy Warhol paintings that he tried to sell to somebody, it put a big strain on their relationship because of the legal implications of it. And there were things like she couldn't get insurance because of Brian's criminal history on her, I think it was on her house or something, so because she was his wife, his actions had repercussions on her. And this legal thing of him being prosecuted for fraud did put strain on their relationship. And somewhere in between, Anna did start having a relationship with another man. And actually, let's have a look at a photo of him. So this man has given evidence in the trial, and they were in a relationship. So Anna was in an adulterous relationship. I personally think, and I think it's generally thought, that Brian found out, because he hired a private investigator apparently. Brian probably found out about this affair, and he, because some of the things he Googled were like about divorce, what's the best place to get divorced, and about how long do you have to wait for inheritance, because she had all the money. She was the the wage earner. She was the person with the money. But of course, as her husband, I suppose, he would get the money if she died. I don't know. He was Googling it left, right and centre anyway. And all this happened, I should tell you. So they had residences, or Anna had residences in Massachusetts and in Washington, D.C. in America. And, you know, she would sort of go in between the two residences. So anyway, she did well in education in Serbia, you know, when she was young. She worked her way up in her career. She was a strong, positive woman, and then she fell in love, unfortunately, and I'll never understand it, because not only, you know, it's not an oil painting, but it doesn't matter what someone looks like, but it's not a nice person either. So I suppose if he's a true psychopath, he can put on this nice exterior, and he must have tried really hard with Anna, because she actually described, as I say, to her friends, that it was love at first sight when they met. So anyway, let's have a look at the background. So this is, as I say, a little short sort of spotlight on the case that was done 2 years ago when Anna first disappeared. So let's have a look. What have I done with it? I know it's here somewhere. Gosh, I don't know where things disappeared to, but anyway, I'll find it again. Yeah, it's a Fox 5, the disappearance of Anna Walshe. So I have to give credit to Fox. That's it. So this, well, I'm going to play it and comment on it, and this will give you a background to the case in case you don't know much about it.
An active search for a Massachusetts mom of 3 who mysteriously vanished after leaving for D.C. She hasn't been seen since New Year's Day.
What happened at that house in Cohasset on New Year's, the morning of New Year's, we don't know.
She was in every way, shape, or form this full of life human being.
Right now, it's a missing person.
So as you can see, she is a very beautiful woman, but apparently she was beautiful inside as well as out. Everybody's got good things to say about her. And everybody says what a fantastic mother she was. And these are 3 boys, her 3 boys, or their 3 boys. So don't forget, this man, this is the piece of shit that Brian Walshe is. When he went out to buy all that body disposal kit, he took one of his sons with him. We'll see that video in a moment of him in the store, letting the little boy use the sort of zapper thing that does the prices. I mean, what sort of person, you know, does that? These are his children that he had with Anna, and he'd murdered Anna and he was going to dispose of her body, and he took one of his sons with him to buy the stuff he needed. Really, really, what did this woman see in him? I honestly, I'm always sort of struck by these such lovely women, and she seemed like a strong woman, you know, positive, good in her career and everything. But she, you know, she was a victim of Brian Walshe anyway.
Every way, shape, or form this full of life human being.
Right now, it's a missing persons investigation. Whether, you know, she just needed a little break or a timeout. We're just looking for her.
When a phone has been shut off for a few days, it's concerning.
Hairs were standing on the back of her neck.
Look, when the police went into the house and arrested him, he came out smiling on January the 9th when the police went in. I mean, come on. What? He's breathtaking, this guy.
When they first arrived at his house on January 4th.
The husband of the Massachusetts woman missing since New Year's Day, now formally charged with her murder.
He is probably the stupidest murderer who's ever walked the face of the planet Earth.
Anna Walshe, a mom of 3 young boys, goes missing from her Massachusetts home early New Year's Day. She was said to be heading here to Washington, D.C. because of a work emergency. She worked for realty firm Tishman Speyer. Now her husband is charged with her murder, even though her body has never been found. Tonight, we'll take you through Anna's life and what prosecutors say happened in those early morning hours.
You know, she was living the American dream. Right? Immigrated from a war-torn country, came here, got a job, was working to support herself and her family.
Anna Walshe grew up in Serbia before coming to the U.S. in 2005. Reports say she worked her way up in the hospitality industry in New York City, where she met her future husband, Brian Walshe.
She's just so personable. She lights up a room.
After New York, Anna also worked in Washington, D.C., Virginia, and Massachusetts. And while we know details of her professional career, little is known about her relationship with Brian. We spoke with reporter Bob Ward from Boston.
Look, there you go. That's their wedding day. What happened? You know, how does it go from this? Now, Anna had been married before. And, you know, so they divorced, you know, that was sort of a normal ending to that marriage. But what did she see in this man? He must be, I know psychopaths are charming, I know that. He will either be a psychopath, sociopath, narcissist, and they can be very charming. He obviously talked a good talk. You know, because Anna wasn't silly either. Do you know, like she had to be an intelligent woman to get where she'd got to. But sometimes, unfortunately, women, they're intelligent, you know, in terms of their career and stuff, but not only women, you know, we're all guilty of it, aren't we? Not only women, men as well, sometimes. Common sense doesn't reign, does it? When look, this dog's, I've just had to deliver him. This dog's trying to get in. It's nothing edible for a dog. Get away! She's so nosy. You finished now? Have you realised that there's nothing interesting in there, knocking everything over? God, she's like a wrecking ball, this dog. Knocking everything off my desk. You know, unfortunately, people who are intelligent, men and women, sometimes when it comes to hormones and things, the intelligence sort of runs out. But, you know, when you look at that photo of them, you know, they do look so happy. And to be fair, Brian looks happy. She looks happy. It all seemed to go, I think when Anna started, it started unraveling for Anna, was this Andy Warhol fraud thing, but we'll see that in a minute.
In 25.
That's one of the mysteries here, that their friends that are here in Massachusetts aren't really saying a whole lot to us and about their relationship. I uncovered a report in Washington that showed in 2014 that she complained to police that he threatened to kill her and a friend.
Anna reported to D.C. police that her then boyfriend told her over the phone that he was going to kill her and her friends.
There was a record of him threatening to kill her. And that is a huge red flag.
That report doesn't name Brian Walshe, but states that her boyfriend was living in Massachusetts, where Brian was living at the time. Anna never cooperated with D.C. police, and the case was closed.
A typical follow-up would be have to connect with the victim and get more information. And it appears that she did not want to follow through. Not unusual in domestic violence cases.
More than a year later, Brian and Anna were engaged just months.
So it sounds like there were problems even before they got engaged, got married, but he'll have talked around one way or another. That's what happens, isn't it, in domestic violence cases? And although Anna was a clever, strong woman in lots of ways, it seems like she wasn't strong enough to walk away from the relationship.
After that, they were married. And the year after the couple welcomed their first child, Anna posted to social media a photo of herself with a black eye. In the post, Anna said she had a mild concussion.
Oh, yeah, there's a photo that she posted with a black eye. Gosh. Was that Brian?
concussion, a bruised hip, and a cut. She appeared to brush it off to friends in the comments, blaming a fall at work. The picture.
A fall at work. It's odd though that, then, I mean, it could be that she did fall. People do fall. The problem is with domestic violence, that's a common thing that people say, like they walked into a door or they fell, etc. I wonder what really happened there. I mean, she looks sad there, doesn't she? In her eyes, she looks sad. Bless her. But, again, he will have talked around, and by then they had children. Makes it even more difficult.
Has never been linked back to any sort of domestic violence, and the couple would go on to have 2 more children.
I mean, her kids were her whole world. Whenever she's with them, it's all about them.
Yeah.
Despite living in Cohasset, Massachusetts.
Now, those children, just want to talk about them a little bit, because, of course, if their dad is found guilty, which I think it'd be a travesty of justice if he's not found guilty when we look at all the evidence against him. But unfortunately, not only they've lost their mum, they've lost their dad as well. And then Anna's mum has said she doesn't want custody of the children because she is over 70. She lives in Serbia. She doesn't speak English. These boys have been brought up, I'm sure they speak Serbian, I would imagine, but, these boys have been brought up in America. Anyway, she just feels she's too old, to take on 3 young boys, as much as I'm sure she loves them and they are her grandchildren. And you can't blame her, really, can you? She'd probably prefer that they went to a family. So I'm not quite sure where the boys are at the moment, because I don't imagine that Brian's mum would be allowed to have them. I bloody hope not, because anyway, there is some controversy about how much she knew as well. I'm not saying she did know anything, but he was round to his mum's. He's very close with his mum. So when you look at this house here, look, the secrets that these sort of, that houses hold, it's sad, isn't it? I just want to say, if there's anybody out there who's watching this, maybe who is going through something similar to domestic violence, or knows somebody that is, I know it's easy to say, but you have to try and get out, because, this happened at New Year. Christmas and New Year are very dangerous times, aren't they? Because significant dates, more crimes seem to happen, but all seem to have come to a head in this household on New Year's Day.
Massachusetts, Anna began working in D.C. at Tishman Speyer last year.
And I knew they were struggling because she's been far away for so long. I knew she, they had many fights about, when are we finally going to come to DC? When am I going to be with my kids? That was her priority.
It was employees at Tishman Speyer that first reported Anna missing on January 4th.
My friend Jem called me and said, Anna's missing. And the first reaction is what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Anna's missing.
Peter says that friend Jem was at Anna and Brian's home New Year's Eve, ringing in the new year, just a short time before investigators would later say she was killed.
So there they were, bringing in the new year. Brian, Anna, and this friend bringing in the new year on New Year's Eve, and the next day Anna disappeared, never to be seen again. Very sad, isn't it?
Initial reports say a family member told police that she left at 4 a.m. on January 1st to catch a flight to D.C. for a work emergency.
It's been reported that she was called to D.C. to handle some type of emergency at one of the properties that she manages. That's why she was attempting to go to D.C. early.
This is another similarity we have with Anna Knezovich. Her and her husband, David, they had a business, didn't they, like real estate, rented out properties and things, and they did really well in their business. And when she wanted a divorce, she wanted 50% of the business, and David wouldn't. He wanted her to have 20% or something. So that murder of Anna Knezovich was all about money too, and they had this similar. I find it these two cases are also very similar. I think lots of similarities, and this is what Brian told everybody, that she'd had a work emergency. That's what he said. She'd had a work emergency and she'd been called away, and now he couldn't get hold of her. How strange! Couldn't now? He was worrying.
She did have a flight booked for the 3rd, but she never got on that flight.
She would not have left on New Year's Day for a work emergency. So I think I pretty immediately knew in my gut that that was not the case. And so it was just sort of this doesn't add up.
According to investigators, Anna's cell phone was turned off on January 2nd.
It's very difficult, as you know, nowadays not to leave an electronic footprint or some type of footprint, which are debit cards or your credit cards, and none of these things have been active since the 1st of the year.
Anna is the kind of person to respond. Again, given the extent of what she's doing in the day, she might not respond right away, but she does respond. When a phone has been shut off for a few days, it's concerning.
Police say Brian was cooperating in the early days of the investigation into Anna's
Nobody turns their phone off for a couple of days these days, do they? Especially not a mother like Anna. Even if she had to go away somewhere, she would have left her phone on in case there was some problem with the children or whatever. Nobody turns their phone off unless the only time people turn their phone off these days is if they're trying to cover up a murder and they don't want their phone to show where they've gone to. Quite often perpetrators do that, don't they? Turn off their phone so there's no data trail. But yeah, you look at that picture with the kids, her and Brian. She's got her arm around him. How could he do this to her? Listen, if he exploded because he found out she was having an affair, she was having an affair, that won't have been very nice for him to find out. And if he's exploded and he's lost his temper, but it's what he did afterwards, isn't it? To take this woman that he's been married to, he's got 3 children with, the mother of his children that he's been with for years, and cut her. You've got to be a special sort of psycho to do that, haven't you? Really, that would not be an easy thing to do for anyone.
Appearance.
Whether she just needed a little break or a timeout. We're just looking for her.
A retired homicide detective who is not involved in the case says he thinks police knew all along.
It's my belief that the police were onto him from the get-go. They made some startling observations of the car before they even knocked on the door.
Brian first told investigators he hadn't seen his wife since New Year's Day, and in that time since, he had only left his home to get ice cream with his son.
Yeah.
But as police continued to investigate, they obtained a search warrant for the family home, which led to Brian in handcuffs.
Brian Walshe is sloppy.
What's he smiling about? Well, you notice how the smile fades off his face? That is more the real Brian, isn't it? But look, he comes out smiling.
Family home, which led to Brian in handcuffs.
It's
Brian
all
Walshe is sloppy.
Funny.
He's making.
See how that smile sort of wipes off his
errors at every turn.
Brian was convicted of federal wire fraud charges in an unrelated case for selling fake Andy Warhol paintings and was awaiting.
Yeah, this is probably the crux of the whole problems that start, because at one time they were happy. They were happy. She told all her friends she was happy. It was love at first sight. It was this, that, and the other. So I think we have to assume that one time they were very happy, but it seemed like when this happened, so this really is just a harbinger of the real Brian, isn't it? When he's capable of committing a fraud like this for money. Money is so important to him. So he sold these fake paintings, and not very good fakes either.
Sentencing. As part of his probation, he was wearing an ankle monitor.
His story did not match up with that electronic evidence, his electronic footprint. And at that point, there has to be red flag. I'm sure.
Do you think that may have...
So imagine being so thick that you're telling the police that the only time you left the house after Anna left was to go out and get ice cream with your son, which actually we find out later he went off to buy all this murder cleanup kit. But he's wearing an ankle monitor, so, you know, there's evidence of where he went. That's how thick this man is. How thick do you have to be? I mean, you don't have to be Einstein. You don't have to be a genius to know that if you're wearing an ankle monitor, the police can trace where you're going. So there's no point in lying and saying you went to buy ice cream when the ankle monitor is saying that actually you went to the local hardware store and bought a load of stuff that's good to clean up after a murder. I mean, he really is a thicko, this guy.
Played into effect when it came to the arrest for him misleading the investigation?
Absolutely.
Brian was charged with misleading police after investigators searched the home. For the first time since Anna's disappearance, the world saw Brian at his arraignment.
The images showed him actually smiling or smirking.
Yeah.
And
unbelievable.
That rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah.
And he walked in with an air of arrogance.
He's an arrogant.
Kind of looking around the courtroom, kind of looking like he owned the place. And I don't know, maybe thinking he could talk his way out of it.
You know, this is a serious situation, and he looked just casual. And I think it's you know, especially someone loving Anna so much, it's really difficult to see that and to understand that altogether. It doesn't make any sense.
I haven't put him in the hellhole yet, but that's where he'll be going. When we get the verdict and his sentencing, I'll put him in the hellhole.
Brian now behind bars, investigators begin to piece together what they say happened to Anna Walshe. Still ahead on this Fox 5 special, the evidence collected by investigators inside that home and the haunting details revealed inside the courtroom.
I think they must perhaps have an advert here.
How could something so horrific happen to such a beautiful human being?
If he did this, it would be smart for him to come clean.
It is a absolutely crushing circumstantial case.
You could hear a pin drop as the prosecutor went from Google search to Google search to Google search to Google search.
So yeah, as I said, there's no smoking gun in this. There's no body. But look at his Google searches. So all the evidence against Brian was circumstantial, a bit like in the Erin Patterson case. But you know, when you get all these Google searches, let's have a look at it.
Case.
You could hear a pin drop as the prosecutor went from Google search to Google.
Right. So can you be charged with a murder without a body? This was his Google search. I mean,
Google search to Google search to Google search.
how long before a body starts to smell? Is a hacksaw the best tool to dismember a body? What was that other one there? Hang on, just missed
Absolutely
one out there.
crushing circumstantial case.
You could hear a pin drop as the prosecutor went from Google search to Google search to Google.
Yeah, dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. He's doing these Google searches. You know, and then he's wondering why he's been arrested.
Search to Google search.
Welcome back. Brian Walshe now behind bars for misleading police in the investigation into his wife's disappearance. Anna still has not been found a week after she went missing. During his arraignment for that charge, prosecutors revealed they found blood and a knife in the basement of the couple's home in Cohasset.
Cohasset is a wealthy town on the ocean. It's very well known. Nothing like this happens there.
During that court appearance for the charge of misleading police, we learned that Brian lied about taking his son to get ice cream.
You know, they always say that, don't they? Nothing like this ever happens there, but it did happen. Did happen. This man did it. And then so he said he took his son to get ice cream.
Prosecutors say instead, surveillance images show he was buying hundreds of dollars worth of cleaning supplies at Home Depot.
I believe he did clean up, but You can never clean up.
So he went to Home Depot and he bought $500 worth of cleaning products. Now I'm going to just show you now this CCTV footage of him in Home Depot. And I'll tell you what, just watch this. This is him smiling into the camera at Home Depot the day after he's murdered his wife, as he took one of his sons to buy the murder cleanup kit. What a foul man this is, honestly. You know, we come up against some foul people when we're talking about true crime, but I think he's pretty special. Oh, just check himself out. Oh yeah, a little smile. Oh, you look beautiful. Yeah, oh, gorgeous. He should have gone to Specsavers, shouldn't he? So he's got his son there. He's given his son the Zappa thing to. I mean, I'm speechless. Oh God. Oh, so handsome. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Oh, what did Anna ever see in him? Honestly, just what did she see in him? This narcissistic, horrible, horrible person. Oh. Just one more time. Oh, look at the smile. Oh, yeah. Well, I've got news for you, mate. You are nothing special to look at. What he really, look, listen, I'm not criticising anyone's appearance. What I'm criticising is him thinking he is God's gift to women. You can tell by this video, he thinks he's so special, doesn't he? Ah, the way he smirks at himself. Oh my God. Oh, so that's him checking himself out in the camera or whatever as he's buying this stuff to clear up after murdering his wife with his son. So here he is again with the employee that he's got to help him. This poor guy had to give evidence in court. So this is all the stuff he's bought, all these buckets, all this cleaning stuff, $500 worth of cleaning stuff he bought. Oh, but he's got his mask on. Look, like, oh yeah, take precautions. Honest to God, I don't know why he's got a mask on. Because the guy who's helping him hasn't got a mask on, so I presume it wasn't obligatory. I'm not really sure why he's got a mask on there. And his gloves, he's got gloves on. Honest to God, it is unbelievable. This guy is special in his nastiness, isn't it, really? So this was a video that was played in the court. This was him after the surveillance footage was played of him depositing things in bins. Look, he knows he's cooked. Wasn't smiling so much there, was he? Not smiling so much there. So, although in the beginning it was thought that he was going to give evidence, he did not give evidence in the end. Let's have a look at these pictures. That's him again in the thing. Look, that's him going in there with his son. Fancy taking his son with him. Can you believe it? Take one of his sons shopping. And like this Rose who I follow on X, she says he has to be one of the shittiest humans around. He does. He is You can't get much lower than that, can you? Taking your own child, your wife who you've just murdered and you're about to dismember, taking her son with you. Can't get much lower than that, really, can you? I don't think. And that's good old Brian. There he is again, checking himself out. And I think, yeah. So I think this is a key photo. Look at this photo. Shouldn't there be some sort of, I mean, surely if you're working in Home Depot or one of these places and someone comes along and buys all this, shouldn't there be some sort of, you know, shouldn't you have to notify the police or something? Because if you ever saw anybody who was obviously, you know, buying a clean-up stuff, the police should be notified, just in case. I mean, thing is, if you went in Home Depot and you bought all that stuff because you were doing a clean-up of a property or whatever, and the police contacted you, you wouldn't be bothered, would you? Be like, oh no, come in and see what I'm cleaning up. You know, it's only if you had something to hide that you wouldn't want the police getting in touch with you. So I don't know, you feel like there needs to be some sort of prompt for these Home Depot people that look, he couldn't get any more stuff in that bloody bucket, could he? In that, not bucket, trolley. Like this person says, there needs to be some kind of secret signal that gets sent to the local police when certain items are bought together. Anyway, I don't know. Let's go back to the, where is it? Let's go back to what we were watching, the Fox special. I just wanted to, I'm just speechless at him checking out his appearance and everything.
Good enough.
It is almost impossible to clean something well enough that forensic evidence would be actually taken care of.
On the day of his arraignment, police were searching a dumpster in nearby Peabody, near Brian's mother's home.
Investigators recovered 10 trash bags. Inside the trash bags, many of these items contained stains consistent with blood.
Among the things they found were blood-soaked towels and rags, a hacksaw, Anna's COVID card, and a necklace and pair of boots similar to the ones Anna was last seen wearing. A week later, and nearly 2 weeks after Anna's disappearance, Brian was charged with killing her.
You know, I know what you mean, David. They are, of course, they're all legitimate items. But you know what? Sure, I wonder if you worked in Home Depot, though, and someone came up with all that. Well, if you knew about, you know, some people don't follow true crime, so they wouldn't have a clue. But, you know, if you're a person who followed true crime, you would just think, hang on a minute. You know, so don't forget, like in the David Knezovich case, he bought spray black paint, didn't he? Because he wanted to black out the CCTV monitors in the apartments. And he bought duct tape. No, you wouldn't. If someone goes in and buys duct tape and a spray black paint, you're not going to think, oh, they're going to kill someone. But if someone goes in and buys all those things that he bought, and if you knew, and you know, you would think, oh, you know, because all those things together. So what I'm saying is, I know what you're saying. They're all legitimate items. You can't stop people buying them. And some people are cleaners or, you know, go and do massive cleanups on properties and stuff. I understand that. But what I'm trying to say is, like, say you were doing a big cleanup and you went in a home base or somewhere in the UK and bought all those items, that great big trolley of items, the gloves, the disinfectant, the saw or whatever he bought in there, and those buckets and bleach and, you know, all of it. If you went in and spent $500 on, or £500 on buying all those things, and the, you know, the cashier flagged it up as a possibility, you know, and then the police turned up at your door the next day and said, oh, look, do you mind if we have a look around? You wouldn't mind, would you? I wouldn't mind. Or would you? I don't know. Maybe you would. Or maybe some people would. I'd just go, oh, no, come in. I'd be glad. that the police were that vigilant about things. You know, they just, it's difficult because, of course, a lot of murderers, you know, they go into hardware stores and buy their items, and of course they do. But that's different because this is such a massive amount of things. It's not just one thing like David Knežević, the black spray paint, the duct tape, or whatever he bought. It's not just that. You can't, you know, you can't look on that as suspicious, but it's got to be suspicious. Surely it wouldn't be difficult for the cashiers just to have maybe even a limit. You know, like if somebody's buying $500 worth of all these things, just be aware of it. Just make a note of it. Just, I don't know. It seems to me like a no-brainer, really, because really, unless you had a cleaning company or something, why would you ever need all that stuff? But anyway, the thing is, he got caught anyway. And as you say, he probably paid by, I think he paid by, probably by Anna's credit card, I imagine. That would be more likely to me, because he didn't have any money. She was the wage earner. So he probably, to add insult to injury, he's probably paid with her card. But this all goes to show what thicko he is, doesn't it?
Walshe dismembered Anna Walshe and discarded her body.
A much different reaction from Brian at this arraignment.
He was very quiet. It was very serious what was being revealed in that courtroom.
As prosecutors laid out their...
Yeah, he wasn't smiling so much there, was he? Because did he really think, you know, did he really think? He's wearing an ankle monitor, for fuck's sake. Did he really think that him saying he popped out for ice cream with his son would be believed, that they would not find that CCTV? I mean, he really is thick, isn't he? Anybody would know that. Surely anybody would. You know, he's supposed to have done his homework. He really seemed to think he could outwit the police.
Their case evidence shows a slew of disturbing searches made on his son's iPad just hours after Anna was last seen alive.
5 a.m. on January 1st, he searched how long before a body starts to smell.
Yeah.
At 4:58 a.m., how to stop a body from decomposing. At 5:20 a.m., he searched how to embalm a body. At 5:47 a.m., 10 ways to dispose of a dead body. If you
see him shake his head there, you know, is he shaking his head like, I can't believe I was that stupid? Is he going to say, because this apparently was on his son's iPad, I think, and is he going to say that his son, a little boy, was Googling all these things? Did he think he wouldn't get caught out because he did it on his son's iPad? So did he think he was so clever it would never get found? They would look at his computer. Now, these are the eyes of a man who knows he's cooked here, I think. He's realised he's not as clever as he thought he was. So, yeah, all these Google searches, 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to.
Then we need to. At 6:25 a.m. on the 1st, how long for someone to be missing to inherit? At 6:34 a.m.
Look at his face. How long for someone to be missing to inherit? He really thought, didn't he, that he was going to get away with it. He'd been so clever. He was going to get out all Anna's money and just sort of ride off into the sunset with the 3 boys.
First, can you throw away body parts?
Oh.
At 9:29 a.m., what does formaldehyde do?
Oh.
At 9:34 a.m. on 1st, how long does DNA last?
Oh my
At 9:59 a.m., can identification be made on partial remains? At 11:34 a.m., dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, you thought you were so clever, and look how thick you were.
At 11:44, how to clean blood from wooden floor. At 11:56 on the 1st, luminol to detect blood. At 1:08, what happens when we put body parts in ammonia?
Oh my God.
At 1:21 p.m., is it better to throw crime scene clothes away or wash them.
Oh my God.
Those were on the January 1st.
Prosecutors say Brian didn't stop there. The next day, he's accused of searching things like, is a hacksaw the best tool to dismember a body? And can you identify a body with broken teeth? The day after.
You know, this is so upsetting, isn't it? Poor Anna. So we can presume by that time Anna was deceased, and he was just thinking, what's he going to do with her? You know, that beautiful woman, the mother of his children, and he's Googling all this. What a piece of shit he is. He absolutely is.
After that, more searches, including what happens to hair on a dead body and what is the rate of decomposition of a body found in a plastic bag compared to on the surface in the woods.
He Googled how to dismember a 115-pound body, and his wife was 115 pounds.
I have never.
So he's Googled how to dismember a 115-pound body, and his wife was 115 pounds. I mean, like you say, David, he might as well have he might have just as well tattooed on his forehead, I am a piece of shit, or I killed my wife. I mean, yeah, or a T-shirt, I did it on it. I mean, you know, it's breathtaking in his stupidity, isn't it? I mean, most murderers at the end of the day are pretty stupid, aren't they? And that's how they get caught. But he is exceptionally stupid, just like Davido, you know, David Knežević. All the similarities between these cases, the similarities. Just think they're so clever. So don't forget that David Knežević, you know, he was also in contact with that girl in Colombia. The messages that popped up that were supposedly from Anna were obviously had been translated. You know, they weren't normal messages in Spanish, the Spanish messages. And it turned out, you know, David had been in contact with that girl in Colombia, asking her to translate the messages for him. And the girl had told her mother that she'd met this lovely man on the internet. And the mother said, oh, what's his name? And he'd given his real name. So when the mother Googled David Knežević's name, she saw that his wife was missing. And so she contacted the police. You know, they're like, you know, they are so thick. You know, it's almost more insulting, I think, when you see these poor women killed by absolute thickos, like these thickos. It's worse somehow, I don't know, because they just haven't even, you know, they were never going to get away with it. I mean, that murder of Anna Knežević is just such a futile thing. It was all about money. So she's dead. David has killed himself because he was in prison. So nobody's got the money. It was all over the money. None of it was worth it. It was the most pointless crime ever. And this is similar, isn't it? So pointless. Nobody, it's a lose-lose situation. I don't see the point of it, you know?
Never seen a defendant do that many Google searches. Never. It was 3 days worth of not just Google searches, but incriminating and damning Google searches.
She just kept going, and every search was worse than the one before.
Prosecutors also say just days before Anna's disappearance on December 27th, Brian searched online, what's the best state to divorce for a man?
I've been doing this for almost 40 years, and I've never seen that level of detail unleashed.
That's what he should have stuck with, divorce. He should have stuck with divorce. He would have got. I'm sure I think really if he would have sat down with Anna and they could have been amicable about it, I'm sure Anna would have made him a settlement, you know, because she would have wanted, although she will have wanted custody of the boys, she will have wanted, you know, them to see their dad. She would have wanted them to be able to stay in a nice place and, you know, him be able to take them out and everything. You know, they could have come to an amicable arrangement. No doubt, divorce arrangement. But this is what makes me think that maybe Brian lost it on New Year's morning, maybe he found out about the affair that Anna was having and he just lost it. Because I think if he had his level head, really, he would know that Anna probably would make a settlement. Oh, and this is probably a good place to tell you what his defence argument was, because, so he's pled not guilty to murder. Because what he said is she died of natural causes. He just found her dead in bed at 2:00 in the morning. So this healthy, woman who had no sort of heart problems or whatever than that we know of, he says he just found her and she died of natural causes. And there she was, just dead. And he really thinks that people are going to believe that. So when he found her deceased of natural causes, instead of phoning the ambulance and saying, oh my God, my wife's not responding and I don't know what's happened, he decided to do all these Google searches, go down the Home Depot and dispose of her body, like you do when your wife dies of natural causes.
At an arraignment.
Brian Walshe pleaded not guilty. The question remains, where is Anna Walshe?
I think the investigators believe that she was disposed of in the trash and then incinerated, and they were just too late to get to it.
Oh.
Still ahead in this Fox 5 special, will the circumstantial evidence be enough?
I hope so. So don't forget, this was 2 years ago, this documentary, or short documentary. The trial is just coming to a close.
She's such a bright light in the world, and it's not fair what happened. And she does not deserve this.
It's surreal. It really is. It's like it just people don't do this to one another, especially a husband to a wife, supposedly.
It's also so sad. Young woman, mother of young children. It's gruesome, and it's just a really hideous set of facts.
I think juries are sophisticated enough to know that if someone is being charged with murder, they're also capable of disposing the body.
Welcome back. Brian Walshe now charged with his wife Anna's murder. He pleaded not guilty and her body still has not been found. Investigators believe he dismembered her and took her and her belongings to different dumpsters starting on January 3rd.
He walks to the dumpster carrying a garbage bag. He's leaning, and it appears to be heavy as he has to heft it into the dumpster. He walks to the dumpster with the garbage bag and leaves it. On 4:48, he hit another complex in Abington, and at 5:10 p.m., cell phone shows records at another apartment in Brockton.
The next day, on January 4th, police do a welfare check on Anna after coworkers report her missing. During that check is when officers notice Brian's car. Prosecutors say the seats were down inside of his Volvo and there was a plastic liner in the back of the car. Then on January 5th, prosecutors say cell phone data shows him traveling to his mother's home.
The phone traveled to the complex where his mother lives at 9:30 a.m., went for about 5 minutes around the building to the southeast corner. In the southeast corner of that complex is where there was a dumpster. The dumpster was later secured and searched.
While prosecutors were able to secure some of the items Brian allegedly disposed of, it was too late for others.
These bags and what was in them were already picked up and taken to a location for shredding and treating cast.
Now, I'm just going to show you now the CCTV footage of him walking to these dumpsters. So, unfortunately, the CCTV footage was obtained, but after, the bins had been emptied. So I think they did get some DNA and things like that. But the remains of Anna that he placed in all different places, they were too late to recover them. But so let's just have a look at it. Hang on.
Disposed of his wife's body in a dumpster. They played this video for jurors during Walsh's trial for the alleged murder of his wife, Anna Walshe.
So this is the, right when you come to the back, this is actually at the bottom of the hill or of the backside where the two dumpsters are located in that fenced area right there.
When was the dumpster picked up? After January 3rd?
What day of the week was that? When it was a Tuesday? I'm sorry.
Sure, I have a calendar right here on my desk. If January 3rd was a Tuesday, when would the dumpster have been picked
Wednesday.
up?
It gets picked up Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursday. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Three times a week.
Before the trial began, Walshe pleaded guilty to illegal disposal of a body and misleading police. But his lawyers insist he is not admitting to her murder.
Yeah, so he's admitting to the disposal of her body, but he says she died of natural causes. I mean, it's just crackers.
Anna Walshe disappeared around New Year's Day in 2023. Her employers reported her missing on January 4th. Her body has never been found. Prosecutors presented cell phone location evidence they say shows him at home improvement stores between January 1st and January 5th, 2023, and a large trash compactor on January 5th. Prosecutors also presented evidence of Google search entries from Walsh's and his son's devices.
XAW, the best tool for dismembering a body. Google search.
The defense lawyers are suggesting prosecutors cherry-pick the evidence, saying it is a fraction of a larger digital history.
Brian, is there anything you'd say to your kids?
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my show. Really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. Just wrapped up another day of the Brian Walshe trial. He's of course accused of killing his wife Anna Walshe here in Massachusetts. Just insane what came out today. More of his searches. He was searching a serial killer who was known to put people in trash bags. Didn't know about that. His porn searches were wild. There were photos of his hands. He actually had cuts on his hands after Anna went missing. And remember, he's accused of dismembering the body. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm going to get into all the latest that happened in court in this episode of Brian Ensign Investigates. Hey guys, so I'm in the car outside the courthouse. It gets so dark early now. But I just got, my hair looks weird. I just got like drenched wet. It's just been this cold rain all day here in the Boston area. And I waited outside. I wanted to see, I knew they were going to bring Brian Walshe out the back of the courthouse. It was like delayed and I was waiting in the rain and I wasn't sure, like I knew I didn't miss him because I had been waiting, but you know, I started to second guess myself, but then they did bring him out and I was able to ask him a couple of questions. They have him shackled. They put him in the back of the van, but he didn't respond to my questions. Take a look.
Brian, is there anything you'd say to your kids? Anything you want to say to Anna's family?
Okay, sorry about that. Oh, dear me. Where am I going? Where am I going? Go away, go away. Go away. Right, sorry, I've completely lost track now. Sorry about that. It was a delivery. I asked them to. Sorry about that. It was good old Amazon, but they, for some reason, it wasn't sent by Amazon. It was sent by the post office, and they need a signature. Apparently, they can't just leave it. Okay, so let's go back to this. It's always chaos in this house. Always chaos.
Incinerated.
He is probably the stupidest murderer who's ever walked the face of the planet Earth. He has made every textbook mistake possible at every single turn. He is not given any thought to how to actually carry out the perfect murder. If there were a case study in how to commit the worst murder possible, he would be the poster boy for that.
Without a body, is there still the likelihood of this moving forward, a case like this?
I believe so, especially this case, yes. There are challenges, don't get me wrong,
It's a hard case for the prosecution because they don't have a body. And while it's not an impediment to getting a conviction for murder without a body, they still haven't recovered a body in the case, and that presents some challenges for the prosecution.
Duncan Levin is a former federal prosecutor. He says that even though a case without a body can be difficult, the state in this case has what it needs.
Just the overwhelming amount of circumstantial evidence here, the cleaning supplies he bought, it was such a sloppily carried out murder that it's very.
I completely agree. Imagine him and Davido in a cell together. But of course, Davido, he checked out. He took himself off to the next world. God knows. And he did it without saying where Anna was. You know, so Anna's family have not had the other Anna Knezovich. They still don't know where she is. It's awful, isn't it? And now it feels like with Anna Walshe's family, I think they know where she is, but what a horrible thought that that's what had happened to your loved one. These people, these twonks, they really are like the lowest of the low, aren't they? You know, it's the lowest of the low, what this man has done.
Very overwhelming, and that's enough. That's all that the state needs to prove against him.
Most criminal cases are made with circumstantial evidence. And it's not unusual for convictions to be had with solely using circumstantial evidence. So that's not I don't believe that's a hurdle as much as people believe it to be, especially with the abundance of circumstantial evidence in this case.
That overwhelming circumstantial evidence is what Brian's defense team will need to overcome.
The defense is going to seize upon the fact that there's no body. And without that, you can't convict for murder because you don't know that she didn't just run away. The problem for the defense is that there are so many different threads here that all point in the direction of Brian Walshe that it's going to be very difficult for them to individually attack them.
If he did this, it would be smart for him to come clean, and somehow, you know, for his kids' sake, fess up to it, right? Because essentially they've lost two parents. No matter what comes from this, they've lost both parents.
Well, that's right. You know, his children, but you know what? He doesn't care about his children. So a man who would take his own child with him to buy all that stuff, to knowing what he was buying it for, that he'd already murdered the boy's mother, and he was buying all that, and he took him with him. You know, and he's letting him use the zapper and checking himself out in the mirror and everything. That says all you need to know about this man. You know, if he wants to save his soul and have some chance in the next world, he has to at least own up to what he did.
Like, she always described him as her best friend, you know, that they were very close, like love at first sight. That was always what she said. That she trusted him, that, you know, anything he may have done wrong in the past, it was just bad choices. She was a good person. And it's sort of like knowing that now it's jarring, it's gut-wrenching, it's uncomfortable, to even think that like someone who's appears so calm and collected could, you know, be capable of something you just don't expect.
Lots of times we find abusers to be incredibly charming.
I don't think that she ever thought she was in danger. And if she did, I don't know that she would have reached out to somebody.
So if she were buying a house in DC and thinking about moving the kids, that is a time where domestic violence might escalate, because that's the time of separation.
So I think when this opportunity came up as well, she jumped at it as well to be here and to, you know, move out of the Boston area. The other part of that really was, you know, with Brian's ongoing investigation. I don't know how much I really want to talk about that. With the FBI, was that she was responsible for being the primary breadwinner. And so it was really a matter also of like her taking that on for her family.
Domestic violence cuts across every category you can think of: economic, racial, religious, any education level, anything, it cuts across.
If anything good can come from this, is to help the next person or persons who might be in this situation, or to have the ability to get help.
I think if more people start to realize that she, who, as you described, was successful and seemed good on the outside, can also be affected by domestic violence. And so don't look at yourself as, oh, I'm a strong, smart woman. How could this be happening to me? It happens to people across every economic divide.
She was strong. She was confident. She was powerful, and wonderful, and an amazing mother. An amazing mother.
So, it's very sad, isn't it? It's making me emotional, that now. Just looking at these three boys, and they've lost their mum and they've lost their dad, you know. So I hope they're in a safe environment now. I hope they've been fostered together, you know, as well. If they've been fostered, I hope they're together and they've not been split up. And, you know, they've got a big shock coming to them when they get older to learn what's happened. Just so very sad, isn't it? So, where we are currently with the trial is closing arguments. Now, I just want to show you, these are the couple of the items that were actually found. So here in this is the Serbian Times. So of course, this is a big thing in Serbia, because Anna was Serbian. She came from Serbia originally. She sort of fled a war-torn country to go all the way to the USA, meet this guy, and end up, you know, his victim. But yeah, there's a photo from the Home Depot. This saw was found in his property, covered in blood. And then it goes through the Google searches that we've been through, this hammer. You know, anyway, he's not disputing that he cut her up, to be fair. He's not disputing that. He's not disputing that he cut her up and that he tried to dispose of her. What he's disputing is that he killed her. He says she died of natural causes. And of course, just like you would when your wife dies of natural causes and you find them dead in bed, you thought, oh, what shall I do? Oh, I know. I'll cut her up and dispose of her body all over the place. So obviously it's a load of rubbish, but you know, what will the jury make of it? So let me just see what the latest was last night, because of course, because this is an American trial, it's televised, but of course it's at night time as far as Spain is concerned. So closing arguments set for Friday morning. Closing arguments, yeah. So it's just coming up. The closing arguments are coming up. Let's share this. Maybe I'll be able to cover them. Closing arguments set for Friday morning. So Friday morning is later on today as far as Spanish time is concerned. There he is in court. Oh, that's his mum. Oh. Brian Walsh's mother, Diane Walsh, watches as her son is escorted into the courtroom. I wonder what the hell she makes of it all. So defence attorney Larry Tipton will address the panel first, followed by prosecutor Anne Yass, who will get the final word. And then after the lawyers deliver their closing arguments, Judge Diane Freniere will deliver her instructions to the jury before they are sent to deliberate. Freniere seated 16 jurors for the case, meaning 4 will be selected as alternates and won't deliberate. Okay. Oh, so 4 of... Oh, that was a bit like the Erin Patterson case, wasn't it? There's so many jurors that have to sit through the whole case, but then only 12 do the actual deliberation. So that'll be happening. It's all happening. I'll be covering it from now until we get to find out what happens. Yeah. Let me know, as always, what you think in comments. I think we all have to agree. You know, I think we'd all would agree that this man is the creme de la creme of the twonks, isn't he? I mean, we talk about a lot of twonks, of course, male and female, when we're talking about true crime. But I think this guy is special, isn't he? He's a bit special in his twonkery. I've just realised I didn't turn my Christmas tree on for this video. I forgot to put the lights on. I'll put them on next time. Oh dear, that's because I've got the blind open a little. Normally I keep the blinds down when I do a video, but I was expecting deliveries and I thought I need to look out the window. I'm sorry, I'm waffling now. So because I've got actual light coming into the room, I forgot to put the Christmas lights on. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to play us out with a more upbeat Christmas song. This is a very sad case. You know, I can't think of any positives to come out of it. The only positive is this guy hopefully won't be seeing the outside of a prison cell for a long time, if maybe never, depending on what the verdict is and what the judge decides for a sentence. I think, you know, the fact that the body hasn't been found won't make any difference in this case. It's clear from his Google searches, well, his own admittance that he disposed of the body. The only thing that is in question is him saying she died of natural causes. And, of course, the prosecution saying, well, that's a load of rubbish. Because what they have managed to establish is the marriage wasn't happy. Anna was seeing somebody else. I don't know if Brian was seeing someone else, but he did have a private investigator. He had been looking into divorce and things like that. That's what he should have done, is divorced Anna. I know 100%, I feel 100%. He and Anna would have been able to come to some arrangement where he might not, you know, he would have got a decent settlement. And it's just, these crimes are so pointless, aren't they? They cause so much misery and nobody wins. You know, nobody wins in the end, like with the Knezeviches. You know, Davido, he did all that, you know, drove all the way from Serbia to Madrid, murdered Anna, did whatever with her body that we don't even know what. He carried her out of the flat in a suitcase, for fuck's sake. And all for what? For nothing. For him then to just take his own life in prison. What's happened to their money? You know, I don't know what's happened to their money because they had no children. So you presume that Anna's money, Anna Walsh's money, will go to her 3 boys. When they're old enough, will it go into trust? And then eventually when the boys are old enough, they, you know, hopefully they'll have that money to look after them. But as far as Anna Knezevic and Davido, they had no children. He's got this dodgy brother, hasn't he? Because it's thought that his own brother knew about all this and knows where Anna is. And then you've got Anna's family in America. Will they get Anna's share of the money? Do you know, money's a good thing in some ways. Obviously it can, you know, it helps, doesn't it, when you've got problems and stuff. But so many bad things, bad crimes are committed because of money, isn't it? Yeah. There's 3 boys, David. 3 boys. There are 3, not just 3 boys. Anna's boys. So, yeah, when they're older, I think they'll be financially secure. But you know what? You could never compensate for what their father has done to Anna, could you? You know, no matter how much money you had. So it's a complicated life. Anyway, I'm going. So thank you for watching. I'll see you really soon, as always, in the next video. Prayers for Anna, prayers for her boys. Hope for a big sentence for this guy. You think he might get 60 years, David? I hope so. I hope so. I just don't want. I just hope. You know, it's going to be life without parole. you know, one of those sort of things. He doesn't deserve to see his sons either, what he did, you know, not only what he's done to Anna, but taking that son of his out to buy all the stuff for the cleanup. You know, he's got no shame. So, till I see you again, thank you for watching. May your God go with you. Right, we're going to put on, what am I going to put on? I'm going to put I'm going to put a Christmas video. Yeah, we'll have the love, peace and joy. Let's hope for it. Not everyone will get it, but let's hope for it. We can only pray. Bye.
Welcome to the channel, it's Vicky Marie. Spitting out the flavor, making history. Subscribers rolling in, family feels fresh. Jump into the vibe, leave the comments, no stress. From street talks to makeup, we cover it all. Chopping up the beats, making big moves, y'all. Urban queen, got the rhythm in her veins. Flow so tight, never stepping out of lanes. Join the fam, hit that subscribe. Vicky Marie chats, we keep it live. Stay connected, watch the magic unfold. Members unite, let's strike gold. Chats blowing up like we running the game. Hip hop roots, we douse it in flame. Fresh content coming at you every week. Stay for the laugh, the wisdom, the street. Got something for everyone. Sizzle and pop, unfiltered vibes. We never gonna stop. Engage with the crew, let your voice be heard. Tune in always, spread the word. Join the fam, hit that subscribe. Vicky Marie chats, we keep it live. Stay connected, watch the magic unfold. Members unite, let's strike gold. Join the fam, hit that subscribe. Vicky Marie chats, we keep it live. Stay connected, watch the magic